Hi there, I'm Betsy Weber. I'm the Chief Evangelist, and with me this afternoon we have Randy Schott.
Hello.
So why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do here
Sure
at
thing.
TechSmith.
I'm Randy Schott. I've been a developer at TechSmith for 6.5 years, maybe 7 almost. Started on Camtasia Studio, helped out with some of our web offerings, and now I'm a developer on Snagit for Chrome.
Very cool. So as a developer, how do you use visual communication in your day-to-day job?
Sure, good question. So it helps that I work on a product that is all about that, but more importantly, we come up on a lot of bugs and things like that in development.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, you don't say. We use GitHub for a lot of that type of stuff.
Okay.
And I'd say the main thing that we will do is use actual Snagit for desktop to capture issues that we see, image capture usually. And the cool thing is Snagit for desktop lets you put that into the clipboard, and we can paste that directly into issues on GitHub to give some context to it. It's also not very uncommon to see QA take screen recordings with either Snagit or Camtasia, shoot that up to screencast.com, and put a link to the issue right there in the bug as well.
Great.
We've actually gotten in the habit of, we're doing the dog food thing, so we're starting to take captures with Snagit for Chrome and just post those straight into our team chat or into bugs and things like that, just to make sure the workflow is okay and things like that.
Perfect. So you're working on Snagit for Chrome right now?
Snagit for Chrome, yep.
Right. So what is, maybe our viewers don't know what Snagit for Chrome is. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. So Snagit for Chrome, not to be confused with Snagit for desktop, like PC and Mac. Snagit for Chrome is a separate app. It's a combination of a Google Chrome packaged app, which runs on your desktop like a normal application would. It's pretty neat. And then an extension, a Chrome extension, which we use for capturing content in web pages.
Okay.
So you capture something in a web page with the extension, it'll shoot it over to the app. Then you can do some annotations like you normally would in Snagit, add some arrows and some rectangles and some text. And the cool thing is we share it right to Google Drive for you. It's synced there automatically, and we give you a nice big blue share button that you can click and get a link to send to somebody else, and they can go view it.
Perfect. So as a developer on Snagit for Chrome, do you have any tips or tricks or hidden secrets or things like that? I mean, you know the product in and out, right?
Yeah. So it's a very new product. We just released the first version in November, and then a recent version a couple of weeks ago with some enhanced annotation. So other than what's there, there's not much to see. It is pretty neat to see things sharing straight to Google Drive. We keep a library of all your captures. One of the cooler things was when we got Sync hooked up, and you could take a capture in Snagit for Chrome on one machine, and then by the time you've turned over to the other machine, it's already popped up in your library. So it's cool to have that cloud synced library, which isn't something that normal Snagit does.
Right. Now, let's say I have a feature request or something I'm dying for you to add into Snagit for Chrome. What's the best way for me to share my request with you?
Sure. Like most products at TechSmith, we use GetSatisfaction, which is feedback.techsmith.com. We have our own product on there that you can submit questions or feature requests to. We're a small team, and we have a small number of issues in there right now, so we check it pretty regularly. We keep an eye on it, and I'd say most of the things that people have requested so far are things that we plan to do someday. It's a new product. It's got a lot of things to work out, but we've got a whole backlog of things that we want to deliver to users, and we try to stay on top of what everybody's asking for.
Well, perfect. Anything else you want to share? Like, what's your typical day like at TechSmith?
So typical day at TechSmith. As a developer, I'm blessed with not having to go to a ton of meetings, which is very nice. And we have a shared workspace where I'm at, so there's probably about 8 of us that sit in very close proximity in an open area. So it's lots of trying to get some code done while everybody else is, talking or having conversations, and it's nice though because we can collaborate right there with each other. If we want to stand up and go to a whiteboard, we just stand up and do it. It's kind of a cool environment as opposed to other teams that I've been on. I was in an office for a while just by myself, and I'd come in and sit at my desk 9 to 5 and I'd go home. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Much more collaborative.
Yeah.
But you didn't mention Lunch and Learns. So Randy, I've roped Randy into Randy's a really good maker, so he's made his own 3D printer, and he's very creative and an expert at making things. So I've roped him into teaching classes at lunch about learning to solder and 3D printing.
That's right. So I'm part of a local makerspace here, that Lansing Makers Network, that took over an old church, a very big, creepy church, and we're building a makerspace in there. So we've got a laser cutter and a 3D printer and some CNC mills and things like that. So, and it's actually, to turn it around the other way, the only reason I got interested in it was because Betsy had gotten some tickets for TechSmith people to go to Maker Faire in Detroit. So that was my first experience with that, was going to see all of the cool things people had made and experiencing that culture. And then I just decided, let's try and build a 3D printer. That sounds fun. And that was its own special nightmare, but it works now. And now I can make silly little Yoda heads and
So you make
trinkets.
software during the day, and you make machines and circuits and program stuff at night.
That's
with 3D
right.
printers, right?
Yep.
So, well, very cool. Thanks for joining me today.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you.